avaz.com.
This is the morning brief from the Economic Times, produced in collaboration with avaz.com.
And everything in terms of isolation, but remember, it's getting bad, it's getting terrible. In some pockets, it's getting horrible. The number of cases.
I woke up this morning to hear about a colleague and a friend succumbing to COVID. It's become a routine, really. Every damn day, friends, neighbors, relatives, relatives of relatives, friends of friends, family. I'm sure it's very much the same for all of us, all across the country. Yet, there are some amongst us, or people like us, who have decided that this is not the time to just sit and grieve for the departed. The need of the hour is to roll up the sleeves and do something for people who may not be as lucky as we are or resourceful as we are. That's perhaps the best tribute to the people we have lost. Raising funds, organizing meals, hospital beds, medicines, oxygen, or doctors, collating and coordinating a flood of information. These are our messengers of hope, who are out there in the front lines, often at great personal expense, as you will hear from them. I've invited 4 such Jedis who are going to share their stories with us. Mind you, they are all volunteers. They're doing this as private citizens and not as part of some corporate CSR or trust. It's Friday, 23rd of April. From the Economic Times, this is Arijit Barman, and you're listening to the Morning Brief. Some, like fashion designer, influencer Amrita Thakur, who's from New Delhi, is leveraging her social media platforms to put important COVID-19 related messages out. Call her an information resource center. Joining us from Kolkata, Samaresh from Newtown Forum, who is juggling his business with relief work for senior citizens and others who are reaching out seeking help. He has been relentless, even when he himself fell sick a few days back. He's joining us now from his hospital bed. Mazher Ramzanali, a former media professional, entrepreneur, Arsenal fan, a food ninja, and my friend, is joining me from Mumbai to tell us about what he has been doing this Ramzan and about the amazing story of Khaana, Chahiye, an NGO that has been fighting hunger in our maximum city. Finally, Ali Shariff, management consultant turned venture capitalist turned maverick, instrumental in creating a coalition of NGOs, Mercy Mission in Bangalore, that continues to do some amazing work. They have distributed over 73,000 dry ration kits in the last 6 months. And that is just one of the many, many other things that they have been doing. Thank you all for taking time out and doing this. Ali?
Yeah.
The power of 20 is, I guess, greater than the power of 1. Was that the rationale for creating this coalition of NGOs?
Oh, yes, absolutely. In fact, interestingly, we met on 21st March 2020, which was just one day before the lockdown started in Bangalore. And it was very fortunate that we all got together on the same page and said, what we are facing is unknown, but we were sure that we need to get together for this fight. And we relied on the combined strengths of everybody. Somebody was strong in different slums, somebody was strong in food, somebody was running a hospital. So we said we need all these capabilities together, and that's what brought us together.
Usually what I've noticed is, not COVID, but generally, we, the argumentative Indian with our egos, coalition, whether in politics or in other areas of work, often, become a clash of egos. But you guys have been relentless. It's really amazing what you guys have been doing last year and now again. Because it's really come back with a vengeance. Amrita, a broader question to you first. Many people, who are into Instagram and influencers, it's actually a double-edged sword because many people, especially people from my generation, the uncles, so to speak, they would still think that, influencers, oh, okay, they're only good at one thing, which is self-promotion. You have clearly proven them wrong.
A lot of us have come together and sort of put everything aside. What we call in the influencer industry, if I'd like to call it that, we call our work collaborations, where we come together with brands, we promote them. So everything has been put aside because we're really not in the mood for it. Up until last year, you heard of a friend's relative that succumbed to COVID, your own distant relative got it and then recovered, oh, it was bad, but, we were fine, or asymptomatic, didn't happen anything. This time, the sad thing is, the reality is that families are falling like pack of cards. People reaching out to us, 18-year-old boy needs an ICU bed. Father has already passed away last week. Mother is on the ventilator. So when you hear of situations like this, you realize that this time we're really not prepared. So it's the only thing that we can do right now. And what initially started as just posting out requirements for people that were reaching out to us has now become a network of about 15 women that are passing on information, that are round them, like by the minute, calling up people and verifying these numbers, whether, if somebody says they have 20 cylinders, so we're calling them up and saying, do they actually have the cylinders? By the time we...
Oh, okay. So you're doing the first cut verification as well.
Yes. Because the thing is,
for
the first 2 days, we were just passing on information. Then we realized that by the time you pass on the information, 2 hours later, these people are running out of the supplies they have.
Yeah.
So might as well. So we're any new information that we're getting, we're literally updating and verifying by the minute, saying updated at 1:45, updated at 9:30 at night. And then rechecking whether they still have supplies, whether there's, room for more, whether they're going to get more or not. And then sort of passing that on to whoever is in need.
Mazher, what got you started? And we would all love to know that how did you get involved with Khaana Chahiye in the first place?
There's something I learned today called survivor's remorse. So you can't, like Amrita said, you can't just sit down and, not do anything. So you wanted to get involved. I found myself to be more productive, putting the jugaad together in terms of like networking a WhatsApp group and getting doctors to kind of do first line. At that time, we didn't know Corona was airborne, whether, we needed to wear PPE kits or, developing protocols. So I just became that coordinator with volunteer doctors and the team of, volunteers who were going down on ground. And I just started like coordinating that, making WhatsApp groups, dividing the city into, different routes. In Bombay, we have a fairly linear sort of pipe of a city. So, we start with the Western Express Highway, and then you have the Eastern Express Highway, and then the Central Line. We also started coordinating with the BMC because, a lot of the Bombay is a dock. So the docklands have a lot of daily wagers. Now, their challenge is that they don't even have a chula at home. They, you can't even give them ration. It's when the lockdown happened, their canteens were unable to provide, so, and those gates, because they had nowhere to move. So they were pretty much locked down by the docklands, who would typically, unload and then go with a token or daily wage to a canteen, eat, and then go back to unloading and loading docks. So, and those are like large populations, 5,000, 10,000. And, and at that time, I think the kitchens of Bombay that had totally shut because of the lockdown had, they had people on, working for them. So it was about, matching capability and capacity with needs. That's what happens. It's so beautiful that when you're working on something like this, it's hard to say beautiful because, it's a tough time. I want to be cognizant of that, but the human spirit is so, the egos fall to the side. Nobody cares.
And Naveed Jadhav, एक social worker, जिसे खाना चाहिए टीम ने बहुत बहुत सपोर्ट किया और चुना, मैं उनका बहुत बहुत शुक्रगुजार हूँ.
So, suddenly we realized that Ramzan had started and, people just wanted their meal instead of 2 o'clock at 6 o'clock. So we had to make some adjustments. And I was talking to the core group and said, we have a network called POCs, the points of contact that kind of represent a lot of the beneficiaries. And we started then, proactively asking who would want. We basically split our meal into two shifts. So we did a 2 o'clock afternoon meal, and then we just tried to realize how many Muslim beneficiaries were there, and we said, can we move their meal to 6 p.m. and so that by the time it's 7 and they're opening their fast. The good people at Parle G, handed us a lot of biscuits, massive stocks, as much as we wanted. It was amazing. So we just added that into the Ramzan package.
Samaresh, your neighborhood is a relatively new development. For those who are not familiar with Kolkata, it's almost like a satellite city in the eastern suburbs of this metropolis. It's also pretty diverse in its demographics. This time around, who has been the most vulnerable? Is it the senior citizens? I know everyone is, but if you have to identify one or two, groups who are especially exposed and needs maximum help, who would that be?
See, in Calcutta, the dynamics are a little different here. Most of the senior citizen and their children are outside Calcutta, and maybe they are settled in US or so they are. Most of them are settled outside, and people are staying here a lot. And we have the biggest challenge is arranging things for them. And the good part is most of them got vaccinated this time. If I talk about last time, we really how we started all together. We have a member, approximately 14,000 member WhatsApp group, and then we have a Facebook group also, where we used to take care of.
These are the residents.
Yeah, of Newtown, yes, of Newtown.
So it's like for those who are not familiar from outside of Kolkata, it's like Whitefield, Bangalore. It's like Gurgaon or Noida.
The daily laborer, which is the biggest problem here, because this is a under construction area. A lot of people were stuck, approximately 4,200 bigger. Daily wages labor was stuck here, and we used to manage food for them. Then with the help of local administration, police, and everybody, we used to to take care of their everything basically. And then slowly, what happens? The senior citizen, they were completely in a lost kind of thing. Once anything used to happen, we used to send food to them. We used to send rations, and then their testing used to be done by us. Even you may not. This is something funny. You should know, because this is a new place. People never used to have. We don't have much of ATM center here. So we call bank, and we got mobile ATM from to different housing societies and everywhere. And
because many of these senior citizens, including my mother, they're not. They're not net savvy.
We are really feeling, since last few days there is no bed in any of the hospital, and this is election time here, and we are really in a bad shape. I've been to EC office, election commission, and then the governor office. We given them letter to stop this political rallies and everything, but somehow now people have started talking, and I'm doing this for last 20 days so that they can stop and we can save people actually. Finally, people are talking sense at least, though it is not stopped, but I'm sure they'll stop in the next few days at least. Last night we have got around 28 calls which are distress call, and we could manage only 6 beds for them, and the rest we are still trying to manage their beds actually, and our team is managing it. And we hopefully...
You're in the hospital yourself?
Yeah, I'm in hospital, but I'm still managing from here. Yeah, that's because I can still manage, because I think I should be out of hospital and manage help these people, because these people are really in distress, because for me I got affected, that's fine, but I still feel I need to be out because people need our help actually.
Absolutely. Ali, how different or ferocious is the threat during this second wave? You've seen it last time, you're seeing it now, and after Ali, others can also chime in. if they see marked difference. One is, of course, more and more people. For me, my first reaction has been this time around, more people I know personally are getting affected across age groups. But other than that, is there any other fundamental difference or degree of the ferociousness of the virus?
Yeah, so I think the second phase now is far more rapidly expanding, and therefore here now people do have some level of knowledge, but then I think the resource crunch is the bigger challenge this time. And for example, I share whatever the others have said and what Samaresh just said. Oxygen is in great shortage. Plasma, things which we were able to kind of do over a period of time last year, we are not able to because the scale of what it has hit. Just yesterday we got we are running a call center and we got 2,800 calls, out of which we were able to address hardly 400 calls appropriately, whether it was for oxygen, whether it was for online consultation free, or whether it is for ambulances, or we are running a plasma bank which has served now nearly 600 people, even mental health conditioning, advising people whether to stay at home, or go out and try for a hospital bed. And then we have other colleagues who are trying to get the beds because through the government quota, etc.
I'd just like to come in. I think one huge difference this time is that, we have been saying that COVID doesn't discriminate. But I think this time, because of the crunch, because of shortage in beds, ventilator beds, just ICU beds, plasma, this time round, it's not looking at who you are, whether you're a VIP, whether your money is not an object for you or anything. People are just, if they're succumbing to it, they're succumbing to it. There's nothing you can do. Sometimes it's because of shortage. Sometimes it's not even because of that, because the way the virus is multiplying and mutating, it's just it's also left the doctors in a bit of a, it's almost like a sudden, they're just flummoxed. They don't know what's going on. Somebody goes in to a hospital with very mild symptoms, then gets discharged. Then in a few hours, the condition completely deteriorates. This is somebody I know, somebody's father-in-law,
yes,
completely deteriorates and is
a lot of cases
it's just has passed away within 2 hours. Babies as young as a year-old are contracting it, and people don't know because it's a new life. I saw on Barkada's Instagram that there was a 15-day-old baby in the ICU battling. It's I think it's just all hit us at one. There's shortage, there's mismanagement, there's it's everything in one go, where doctors don't know because this is a new thing. They haven't sort of conquered it and know how it reacts, what it does, what it doesn't. Sitaram Yechury's son passed away, and that's the biggest example of someone for whom, say, money might not have been an object. He has the resources for the best treatment, best everything, but there you've gone. You've succumbed to it. 35 years old. It's not looking at how old you are, whether you have children, whether you have money, whether you have the best doctors behind you. It's just not looking at that.
Correct. But Samaresh, are you still facing, denial, dogma? Is there still social stigma towards, say, testing, vaccines? Log kya kahenge?
Yeah, that's very much there in New Town. At least what is happening, people are thinking like, if I open up to people, if I have COVID or symptoms, then people may close their doors, and a lot of things still happening basically. And we are just
people are dying even then.
Yeah, even then, if you what happens, because it's a new place, what is happening? It's people from inside Calcutta. Once they get affected, they are coming out of Calcutta and staying here. They are not disclosing it to other people, and they are roaming around at times, and they're just spreading. This is our biggest challenge. We are trying to make people understand, if you don't do this, if you do that, then you're actually the super spreader. Now, since last 2 days, the police and administration has started again talking about it. And hopefully,
I'd just like to come in that, at this point, like Samaresh said, that there's so much people don't know most of the time. So if there is, at this point, say, for example, if the government was to come out and give you information about who is eligible to donate plasma, how you can donate simply, and put the process out simply, then it would really help, because the government is by the people. And if they have such a hold on their people, they need to educate their people about all this, which is not happening. And it doesn't take much. It's one video recording that just needs to go out and be put out by the CM, by, the people in the government, to just say that this is what needs to be done. It might help somebody. These are few steps that do not take a lot going in.
These are
not happening.
Protocol 101.
Arijit, one big change also is, at least now we have a vaccine. The healthcare workers, the frontline workers have been vaccinated. I think last time we had a big challenge of even attracting healthcare, the doctors and the nurses. Getting doctors last year was a bigger challenge, but now with vaccination and there is at least that confidence. And unfortunately, the second wave has hit India before much of the vaccination could happen. But still, vaccination has made a big difference in the confidence of at least the frontline workers. There is still a lot of vaccine phobia among the masses, which has to be addressed. People have to be taken into confidence. The political leaders at least should reach out and give them confidence. We've tried it with other channels, but a lot of vaccine promotion should happen, because that's the only way in 2 to 3 months we can hopefully tide over this wave, and hopefully then get to that mass whatever protection.
Absolutely. And even after first round, people should still wear their mask. It's not that you've taken the jab and then you're like free to be a Superman. That's not the case. I see so many people, quote unquote, educated people, worldly wise, but they're very nonchalant about the whole thing. Yes, I've taken the first jab, but that's not enough. That's something that I just don't understand. Mazher, you've been dealing with a lot of, as you said, a lot of the daily wagers. You're going to the slums of Goregaon. But this time around, at least in Mumbai, there's been a severe crackdown pretty early on, and the laws are far more stringent. So I don't think you can organize these langars anymore. So how are you adapting?
Ali also makes a good point about the stigma and a lot of false information about the vaccine. We've actually started lobbying with the Maulvis that are there to say that they made a simple statement that said your roza will not be broken if you take the vaccine, and that actually worked beautifully, because one is it comes from a place of trust, and if it says that you can still take the vaccine while you're on a roza, it means that this is this is wajib and this is jaiz. So it kind of works. So I think you got to do what you got to do. So
people are actually, they believe or they think that the roza will be broken if they take the jab.
Yeah, well, if you take anything, right? So while you're fasting, you don't take anything between, so you won't go out. So we actually, through the lady that I'm in touch with, we initiated a conversation and we said, listen, if you just say this much, it'll just help a lot of people.
Absolutely. Amrita, is the information flow both ways largely metro-centric, or you're getting queries and you're sending out information about pretty much everywhere? Because this is a national crisis.
It initially started with Bombay and Delhi, and then it's gone on to, we're getting a lot of requests from Patna, we're getting a lot of requests from Varanasi, from MP. And the thing is, if they identify, say, I'm from Bihar, so if they identify who you're from, or if your followers know where you're from, then they'll kind of get in touch with you saying, hey, do you have any leads back home? But as of now, it's more Bombay and Delhi centric. I guess they're also reaching out to the people who they know where they're based. They know we're based in Delhi, so it helps too. And actually, while we're getting a lot of requests from everywhere, we are mostly being able to help with the resources that we're finding in Delhi NCR.
But you are now part of a collective of 15, 20 odd influencers who are pretty much pan-India, at least large cities,
yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Samaresh, which are the biggest pressure points now? Is it the lack of hospital beds, lack of medicine, oxygen, or it's pretty much everything is in short supply?
See, what happened is, as election was going on and still going on rather, so government was reluctant about doing anything. Now, what has happened because of that reason, government was not taking call in increasing the number of beds and other things. But in last few days, they've started pushing it now. Bed is a biggest problem now because we don't have any bed as such, because maybe hardly 120 beds are empty all across Calcutta as on today morning. So now like the numbers are every day we have already crossed 10,000 cases per day. So I mean this is very less for Calcutta, and we need to open up more beds. People are not getting oxygen, the supply is very less. And then a lot of people started hoarding this thing, and that's a bad part. And the information which are very important, which everybody is talking about, if the leaders, the main political leaders and everybody, they speak a little of this thing, maybe small thing which can change, that can really help better.
Ali, what's been the role of the government or civic authorities?
Yeah. So one thing which we did see, and we've been working with the authorities from day one actually, is we did see the government machineries, actually crank, because once they put the lockdown and then others could venture out, it was the government which was forced to kind of play its role. And I think in Bangalore, by virtue of having stronger resources, the civic authorities were able to marshal around quite a few resources. So we worked in close tandem, whether it was for permissions.
I would like to thank the Mercy Mission, and they are true to their name. They are showing mercy on a lot of people, and they are actually giving food to a lot of people.
For example, this whole Shramik Seva, which we did, even with the railway authorities. So during, if you recall, the Shramik trains ran in the month of May last year. One of our funders, Azim Premji Philanthropic Initiatives, came forward and said, what can we do about it? Because there's no food on the trains, and all the railway stations are closed, and people are having to travel back for 1.5, 2 days, right? Then they said, why can't we give them packed food for 2 days? And this was like on May 1st, and May 3rd, the trains started. So immediately we reached out to the railway authorities, we reached out to the police, because we needed permission to move food across district borders. The trains from Bangalore initially started in a neighboring district, then moved to Bangalore. The railway authorities supported, the police supported us, gave us the permission, and we were working in those 35 days. We were able to work over the nights, pack 10,000 food packets overnight. It was some amazing effort. We called it Mercy Shramik Seva. And in the morning at 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock, the food packets would go to various railway stations. So there was, in terms of permissions, in terms of support, the government machinery has the resources, and working closely with NGOs, we could do a lot with them. Of course, there's always more to be done, but I think, for whatever it is, we did a lot with it.
No, Ali, you've been a consultant, so you use this a lot. This is when PPPs or public-private partnerships are tested the most, and this is where it matters the most. Mazher, what's the scene in Mumbai? I mean, is the administration fully supporting all the initiatives, not just yours and others, or it's still in pockets and patchy?
So let's just be honest. The government is stretched. It is a big city. I think we in Bombay went into dread number of cases before anywhere else. But it's commendable the way I want to big up, Uddhav and what he's done in the city. The jumbo centers that were set up. A lot of the support that we've worked with large, let's just say they're colonies of daily wagers, and the BMC, they've been working day and night. Last year we worked a lot with the Shramik Seva as well. We had a lot of homes that were making theplas and sending it out, and there's a lot of volunteers that were working at the stations, and at the Bombay has 3 exit points for migrants at the north of the city, which pretty much lead up. So when the services were not open, people started walking on the streets. So I think we as an organization worked with setting up fruits. We got fruits and we got theplas, and we had like non-perishables that we could just hand water. A lot of that happened in conjunction with the government authorities. I've just recovered from COVID. I get a call every day from the system to check on my vitals and whether I'll need more, assistance from the government. But let's be honest, they're doing what they can, but it's stretched to,
It's up to us. It is absolutely up to each one of us to join this fight. We just can't.
But I also want to take a moment to, talk about the mental health of all our frontline volunteers, including, our social media warriors, to the, actual delivery, to the, doctors and nurses and, the Safai Karmacharis that are working. It's so defeatist, when you see right now, so many people, I think Ali mentioned his call center received 2,800 calls. They were able to service 400. By the end of it, that volunteer will feel so horrible because even though he's doing what he can, but, and the thing is that he's so clued in. He knows, Amrita knows who needs that remdesivir now,
Absolutely.
So I just want to say that you guys, leading your own teams, just take some time for the mental health of everybody that's working with you because
yourself.
And
take
yourself.
Care of yourselves.
It's a time to be compassionate and just understand. While you can big up everybody, you just have to have all the empathy that you can. For now, people are defeated.
I just want to add one thing from what Mazher was saying right now. Yesterday morning, I woke up to my phone and there were messages in my private messages. There were people who had asked me to post about somebody in their family, some requirement, plasma, bed, ventilator, etc. And I had 7 people that message saying, you can take the post down, the person has passed away. And it was the most defeatist feeling that one woke up to. And then I carried on and I read other messages. And then there were 3 that said, got the plasma, got the bed, got the oxygen. Thank you. It helped. So right now, the conditions are such that for 10 people falling, if you can save even one, it's one day that you did something. So I think that's the only thing we can tell ourselves and just try and help as many people as possible.
All of you, you guys just rock. When cynical, petty electoral politics put a premium on elections instead of human lives, you feel broken and dejected. But stories that we heard today give us hope.
Now that no one can deny that there is an oxygen.
For now, more people are contracting COVID than recovering, and our creaky healthcare infrastructure just can't cope up. But I feel happy that private citizens are volunteering and are not sitting idle. Even people with just a handful of followers have started responding to SOS calls on social media. We, the people of this country, will not give in without a fight. I'm Arijit Barman, and you've been listening to The Morning Brief. This episode was edited and coordinated by Shashwat Mohanty and Bhavya Dilip Kumar. I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode. We look forward to your feedback. Write to us at themorningbrief@timesgroup.com. And if you like this episode, please share on your social media handles. We'll really appreciate it. The Morning Brief drops every Tuesday, Thursdays, and Friday. And thank you, Ali, Amrita, Mazher, and Samaresh. Each one of you are an inspiration to all of us. From the entire team of the Economic Times, Morning Brief, and ours, here's a big high five. Let the force be with all of you. Stay safe and keep your spirits high. And Samaresh, get well soon. Thank you for listening in. Have a nice day. Goodbye and good luck.
Avaz.com